Hi, it's David Wildstein at the New Jersey Globe. I am joined by Congressman Chris Smith, a Republican from New Jersey's 4th District. Congressman Smith holds the record as the longest-serving congressman in the history of New Jersey, and he's gotten that record, and he's still younger than just about half of the delegation in New Jersey. So Congressman, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
David, thank you very much. And thank you for how comprehensive you are and how fair you are to both sides of the aisle and all candidates. I think it's extraordinary.
Thank you very much. So this is your, we were just talking about this, this is your 23rd race for Congress, and you're looking for your 22nd win. The first one when you were 25 years old back in 1978, that was, I guess that sort of just taught you how to do this.
It did. And I did run somebody else's campaign in 78, which taught me, 76, which got me off, into this direction. But yeah, 78 was I learned how important going door to door was, and I did it almost every single day. And still lost, but I read a lot of people.
I know. And then 2 years later, and this is sort of a message to everybody who is going to run today who doesn't win it doesn't mean it's over. It means you're just, in some cases like you, it means you're just getting started.
No, that's true. Newt Gingrich, took him 3 times. Frank Wolf, one of my good friends who retired recently, but took him 3 times. And, that kind of tenacity is important. And I try to bring that kind of push and resolve to every single race, just like I'm running 10 points behind every time.
So, and I said this on a live stream last week that we were analyzing the whole state, and I keep thinking about it because it's so true with you. You put your foot on. You got into a car in 1978. You put your foot down. You floored it, and your foot hasn't come off that gas pedal.
That's true. I may get a citation for speeding, but I never stop. And I love the job. That's the I love serving people. I love the idea of being able to take an idea, and I think of a lot of ideas. My wife calls me, and she's really more of the idea factory than I am. We turn them into laws, and they're always focused, like even autism. We met some people right here in Whiting in 1997. 3 years later, we got the first autism law, and now we've done 3 since, but it all came out of casework. So I do believe, you can put your ear to the ground, listen to the folks in your district and even beyond, but certainly in your district, and write good policy.
And you are, you're in a good district, and there's no doubt about it. For a Republican in 2022, you're in a good district. There's nobody out there that thinks that you have, on either side of the aisle, that thinks you have any trouble at all. But the value I place on history, because we talk about it from time to time. For people that are fairly new to the process, that wasn't always the case with you. You had some pretty tough districts along the way.
Oh, very tough. Matter of fact, the Joe Molino, who was the Senate president at the time, gerrymandered my wife and I out of the district, took it right down to just north of Camden, to Pennsauken. I had Willingboro in the district, which is very heavily Democratic. And it was like 3-1 Democrat to Republican. I was the top pick for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee to be defeated on the Republican side. And I worked 6 months, 7 days a week, and came out thankfully on top. And I'm so grateful to the people for that. But that was a tough race. And I had many like that over the years, particularly in districts that were, not favorable to a Republican. And now I'm so grateful I have a district that is more prone to vote Republican, but I still don't take it for granted. Now I'm going to make sure that they are, and everyone else in my district, whatever their party happens to be, are well served. And we go all out to say, we're here to serve you and do our very best. If you have a problem or if you have an issue, let's talk about
it. And you are, you're now poised to, you are the second most senior member in the House. I think 20 years younger than the guy above you who is only there, as Joey Fox pointed out, because of in the voter guide, the New Jersey Globe voter guide, because because Rogers comes before Smith, and it's done.
That's true.
It's done alphabetically. But tell me what you're getting out there today. I know you are out and about and still talking to voters today. What
Well,
what are
I
you
am
hearing
hearing,
about?
and I've heard it throughout the entire campaign. I've done a lot of those days like Howell Day and Middletown Day when you're out there for hour upon hour, and you really get to hear everybody, cross section of the public, and they are so concerned about inflation, and believe that it is by design, not by default, because of faulty policies. There's a growing concern about law enforcement, or the lack of it in terms of support by certain people in the electorate. We really, our police need to be protected. Yes, there's some bad police out there, but the overwhelming majority are incredibly responsive, and I would add courageous, going out every day, not knowing what they're going to face. We need to stand behind them. And then one of the pieces of legislation, qualified immunity, which protects them from frivolous and ruinous civil lawsuits. In this last Congress, the one that's still going on now, there was a vote for a Biden policy that would have eviscerated, gotten rid of qualified immunity, making them unbelievably vulnerable to the criminals and their defense attorneys. Thankfully, while it did pass the House, and I spoke out against it, it did not pass the Senate. And if we do take control of the House and Senate, it will not see the light of day ever. It is anti-police on steroids. So I hear about not really qualified immunity so much, but policing all the time. And I'm hearing more and more about defense issues. That's beginning, concerns about China. I do work a lot on China, so my ear is especially attentive to those concerns as Xi Jinping, a cruel dictator, is in total ascendancy in terms of his power. So there's a lot of concerns that are out there that we have to address. And let me just say, David, there's been no accountability in the last 2 years of Biden. The press have not asked hard questions, except for maybe Fox. But the Congress has not done its due diligence in doing oversighting to ask the hard questions, because that's where you get better policies. And even the administration might calibrate some of its policies if they were being held to account. They will be held to account when we take control.
And I've seen, and you spent the first 14 years of your career in the minority, then it's
Yes.
bounced back and forth. I will say this, for better or for worse, when your party's in the majority, you have not been the easiest guy for them to manage. You've had this independent streak to you, which has been good and bad for you over the years. It hasn't, I'm not saying it's limited your effectiveness at all, but it's, they've punished you from time to time.
Well, David, it's interesting you bring that up, because I think this is where lawmakers on both sides of the aisle need to always strive to do it right, and also in the best interests of their electorate to the greatest extent that's possible. When I was chairman of the House Committee on Veterans Affairs, I wrote some very serious laws, the author of them, including the Homeless Veterans Assistance Act, which has brought down the number of homeless veterans on the street on any given night from about 300,000 at the time, any given night, to about 37,000 today. Still too many, but we're making unbelievably progress. I've written our laws on trafficking. But when I went all out to say veterans do come first, I was punished by certain elements within my own party, but that only made me double down and work even harder. I'm not going to be intimidated. I am a team player. I love the Republican Party. We have great leaders. But that said, we're all prone to make mistakes, including me. And I certainly, make that very clear. But it's important that we be men and women of principle and of conscience, to speak the truth as best as we can articulate it and know it. And if that gets you in trouble from time to time, so be it. But I do think we are in such a negative path now in every single category. Energy independence is gone. We had it just 2 years ago. The wall in 2006, David, every single or almost every single Democrat, including Hillary Clinton, who was in the Senate at the time, voted for the Secure Fence Act to build the wall. Now it's a big no-no. You can't do it. Well, I believe in legal immigration, but illegal immigration undermines and allows the traffickers, and they're doing it, sadly, in a horrific way, to under cover of the open borders, to bring in young women and boys and and to exploit them, to turn them into commodities for sale. And of course, fentanyl is coming across the border because of this sense of not having a secure border. And I think, we were all on the same page in 2006. Even Schumer in New York voted for it. And now, now they just walk away from it and say, as Vice President Harris said, the border is secure. That's not even laughable. That is a cruel joke because people are coming across. They're getting hurt. I talked to the president of Guatemala who told me about 80% of all the women who make their way up thinking, the land of milk and honey in the United States are sexually assaulted. That number is his. There are others who have different numbers, but it's a very treacherous and arduous travel for them. And many of them are harmed. And again, having the magnet, which is an open border, dealt with, would mitigate that terrible crisis that we face south of the border.
Well, Congressman Chris Smith, I mean, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. I know that
Thank you.
It seems clear you're set to have a good night tonight. And if I've known you 44 years now, so I am I say this showing no favoritism at all, but my guess is you're going to look at your results, you're going to see the win, and you're now beginning your next term tomorrow morning. So. Or
exactly. And I'm so excited about it. And above all, grateful. I am so grateful to the people. I'm grateful to the party leaders who have been so supportive, all the elected officials, the county committee people. I mean, and above all, I'm grateful to my wife. I have the greatest wife on the face of the earth. I love her. We've been married 45 years. I proposed to her on a jetty in Belmar in 1976. I got married the year after that. And she is just an inspiration beyond words. And frankly, this, David, I write my own speeches. Not every one of them, but most of them.
I know that.
I always give it to her for rewrite, and she gets it so beautiful. She's a great writer and a great thinker. So I'm grateful for that. And then I have a great staff. Just wonderful people. It's all about solving problems and helping people.
Okay. Well, Congressman Smith, thank you for joining me, and let's talk again soon. Good luck
Look
tonight.
forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night now.